really finish them. Welcome to Balance Sports, a show at the cross-section of women's basketball and a gay time.
This is what happens when two best friends catch up twice a week to talk hoops in front of a green screen.
From interviews with legends to blunders on camera, covering Coach's game plan and also her wardrobe.
We're here to grow the game and have a good time.
This is Balance Sports.
I appreciate y'all.
This is Breanna January.
I'm Jewelry. I'm Breanna Stewart.
This is Ezzy, and you're watching
Balance Sports.
Welcome back to Balance Sports. I'm Jewelz.
I'm Hunter.
We just watched Game 1 of the WNBA Finals.
It's over. The Aces are one game closer to winning their franchise's first WNBA title. I really love that we're going to have a first-time champion irregardless.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's a nice welcome to the party. It doesn't always have to be the same people. I think that's really good for the league. So, yes, I love that. Do you want to start with Cathy's thing before, or do you want to end with that?
Let's do it. Let's get it out the way. Commissioner Cathy Englebert spoke before the game about some different things. She spoke on Brittany Griner's unacceptable detainment. Mm-hmm. She spoke about prioritization, league having some expanding games in Canada. What were your thoughts about what she had to share?
There were moments of confusion for me with people kind of pressing down and asking about the expansion. And it was like, previously she had said we would hope to identify 10 teams by right now. It was by the finals or by September. We are now here. And she pretty much gave the same answer except pushed the timeline back. And so I was like, oh, we're hoping to identify teams by the end of the year, by the end of this calendar year. And so it was like, well, what y'all been doing for the season? So that was kind of annoying. I think it's exciting that we will be playing some games in Canada. That travel sounds horrible. I don't want the players to have to do that. And so I was like, well, I hope that those teams are Seattle and Minnesota, like at least the teams that are closer to Canada. Like I don't want the Dream to have to make that trip, or Phoenix. Like, no, thank you.
It's still a flight for everybody. I hope they get chartered. If they're going to Canada, that flight should be chartered.
Yeah, and it also just seems like there's not enough teams here to start going international. But those are my initial thoughts. It was great that we as the media got a chance to speak with her. What did you think?
Yeah, I agree. I always just appreciate the chance for her to be like in everyone's face. I appreciate them saying before the WNBA Finals, we have to acknowledge Brittany Griner's not here. Still keeping that front and center, regardless if their hands are tied and there's not much the WNBA can be doing, I guess, in this situation. I think everyone just always wants it to be moving forward, right? And so some of that was just like, well, wait a second. What's the timeline for these plans here? We thought that was supposed to be, this announcement today would have been narrowing it more, and it felt like, remember that last time we talked? Same. This could have been an email. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, they could have sent that out of oh, by the way, they haven't. Maybe the questions would have been, why have we not identified those teams now? Because that's what you said we was going to do.
We'll ask her this before game 2 if she's available.
You think she'll ask it? No, I will not be asking that. The only thing from the pregame that I felt like that's cool was Curt Miller talking about his connection to Becky Hammon, which I feel like he's talked about a lot, but we haven't been covering the Sun, so I did not know. So Curt Miller is coached at Colorado State. He coached Becky Hammon, and people, I'm sure, have been writing about that all year. And so I think it was during one of the practices, or I guess the practice, I hopped on the Zoom, and he basically rattled off, I know this is what you guys are going to write. Isn't that crazy? So he seems kind of tired of it.
While we're still talking about that, after they beat Chicago, I thought he made some interesting choice words. He said, I just want it to be known. I want the media to cover. Here's the media covering it right now. We got to talk about the whole
record
thing. That I have 3 players that have beat Candace Parker out of the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 years. And I want that to be written about. Candace is an all-time great, but we've beat her, these 3 players, 3 of the last 4. You remember what Candace said?
Candace said, I win championships. Sit down.
I mean, here's the thing. We have a standard that we uphold. We won a championship last year. We don't hang conference banners. So, to be honest with you, defensively, I think that, they did a great job. They won the series, but, I think if it's anything, it's us and our aggression that changes things. And we've shown that we could do that in the series regardless. So, like I said, is what it is.
I screamed, and she didn't say really much else. It was so just well done, well done. Oh, it was such a good comeback. Pre-game, I really liked actually a story that he told about Odyssey Sims, and we do have to clarify that my Fantasies team name was the Odyssey Hymns. So I do love her. But
And her eyelashes.
he said that when we talked about signing her, she came to me and said, I would really like to be myself on the bench. And he says, what does that mean?
Say less.
It was like, where is this going, Odyssey? And she goes, I really want to be fun and energetic. I want to be like an energy player. And he was talking about how her and Dejanay Carrington, two Baylor alums, are really that for the team. And you can see that. But I thought that was just like a really small tidbit that was shared. The rest of it was all basketball shit.
So let's get into the basketball shit of it all.
Okay.
So the Aces won. I believe they won 67-64.
You got it.
What are your initial thoughts on the game?
I have a lot of faith in Chelsea and Asia. If it's low scoring, if it's high scoring, I got faith in them. My initial thoughts are seeing that final score. I think Connecticut has to be shaking their heads like we let one get away. We did everything we needed to do. We held the Aces into the 60s. We muckied up the game, the word that they kept using, and we lost by 3. I thought that final play was garbage, and the whole game did not come down. I hate it. It felt anticlimactic, actually. But it was not a beautiful game. It was a playoff game.
Very well said. I echo those sentiments. I like high-scoring games. I want more buckets. I think that Connecticut controlled the pace of the game. In a lot of ways, they won some things that maybe they shouldn't. So they had 40 points in the paint compared to Aces 20. Like they had a lot of victories within this game. Holding them to such a low-scoring game is a big one. Am I going to say this on camera? We follow the storm. That's, we are storm.
We had
folks.
to start with
I just
that.
want to make that
and we
clear
have to let everyone know.
for the new people that we live in Washington and follow the storm. So I didn't watch a ton of it wasn't, I wasn't like turning on the sun every single time. That being said, I don't think I like the style of play of Connecticut. I'm only going to say it this one time. I'm not going to say it the rest of the series. Hopefully it goes all the way to 5 games.
Name 2 players specifically you hate to watch play.
No. It is not that. It is just like the mucking up of it. I don't like. I think, again, like this point range is where they live. This is not where the Aces live. And so those are kind of my initial thoughts on it.
No, I the point thing, I was just looking this up. Coming into the game, the Sun were leading the league in points allowed, right? Only allowing 72.1 points per game. The Aces, meanwhile, were the highest scoring offense in the league, averaging 88 points a game. So the Sun not only held them below what they're used to holding teams, which leads the whole WNBA, they held them below that, and they held the Aces like 20 points while they were scoring. They still lost.
And they still lost.
Hurts.
And they still lost. Okay, so the Connecticut Sun had 4 players in double digits. We have AT with a double-double, 19 points, 11 rebounds. JJ had a near double-double with 15 points and 9 boards. Bree Jones had 12 points, and Natasha Heidemann had 10 points. DeWanna Bonner had 3 points. I believe it's unlikely that Connecticut's going to win when DeWanna Bonner's playing. Her production is so low. And I do want to jump to that last play. No, the game isn't won or lost on the last play. It could have been tied and we go in overtime, though. We're watching the game, and my spouse says, what do you think's going to happen? I said, DeWanna Bonner. The ball, I would give the ball to her. Even though she hadn't had a great scoring night, I'm going to put the ball in her hands. They did. And then what'd she do?
A step through, kind of. Is it a 3-pointer? Would it have been a 2 anyways?
That was just bad.
That is so funny you say that, because the whole game I was just playing, I was thinking to myself, Connecticut wants the game to be just like this. Like, they want them just in striking distance. Their defense is going to help them pull it out, how they did in Chicago. And then they went on this run. Then, when they were down 3 and they had 1 shot, I looked at that roster and I was like, well, who the hell's shooting this shot for you? And not to sound hateful, but these aren't knockdown 3-point shooters on this team. This is not a team built for that. They've got a lot of bigs. If I had a nickel for every time they talk about Alyssa Thomas having torn labrum, I'd be rich. But yeah, DeWanna Bonner wasn't having a great game. So I agree. I was thinking it's her. And then JJ, I guess, your 6'6" player shooting a 3 after that I would trust the most. Then maybe Courtney Williams. Yeah, they muckied up the game. They could not get points out of really those three. Courtney Williams had 5, Natisha Heidman had 10, and DeWanna Bonner had 3. Just 18 total points from that group. You're going to have more.
Yeah. Alyssa Thomas and Courtney Williams both played 35 minutes, while the Aces had 4 players with 30 plus minutes, and A'ja Wilson had 38. What I thought was interesting is that she played 40 minutes, all 40 minutes during the Seattle series. To me, it's kind of telling that she felt comfortable coming off the court.
Oh, really?
Do you understand what I'm saying with that?
I do.
Like, she was like, Stewie's on, I'm on. She was like, I'm going to take a minute here. Even though I think when she came out, they might have been down. She needed the rest. Perhaps she felt comfortable to be like, we got it. I don't need to be on the court every single second.
I would like to look back because they played Derica this game. She came in and had some really great minutes. So I want to look back and see when A'ja was pulled. But the Aces had a 12-point lead at one point in this game. That was their largest lead. So I'm wondering if it was maybe just being like, hey, we've got this lead. Even if they get it back to 6 or 8, we can put A'ja in then. I don't know if that's when it happened, though.
I feel like it wasn't. I feel like that lead happened at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, because they got out to like a 25. Let's see. It was 25-17 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
After that, the Aces scored 9 points in the second. They scored 21 in the third. But in the fourth quarter, there was 23 total points scored between both teams.
Yeah.
There's a lot of offense mission here.
Yes, there is.
Curt Miller was saying post-game that he felt that his team's inability to get to the free throw line really hurt them in the end. The Sun were 3 of 5 from the free throw line, and the Aces were 16 of 19. And he said, I don't want to, he didn't say anything about the refs. He said, I think that's just their defense, and they were getting there and getting their offense flowing because they were getting easy buckets. We never were able to get to the line, and we weren't able to kind of see that same rhythm.
So the Las Vegas Aces had 3 players in double digits. A'ja Wilson had a double-double with 24 points and 11 boards. She also had 4 blocks. Chelsea had 21 points, and Jackie Young had 11. But I'm going to go over to KP. KP didn't score her first bucket until 4 minutes and 28 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Deep into the fourth quarter was the first time she got her first bucket. And it was a 3-pointer. I'm running out of air. And it was a 3-pointer, and it was really exciting. It was like, yes, they absolutely needed that. I agree. They, in the post-game press conference, I think Becky was talking about how she was doing everything else. That was great because she wasn't producing anything. 1 for 9 field goals, 1 of 7 from 3. She had a terrible shooting night.
Cold.
But she did do a lot of other things that just don't show up. And I do appreciate that. It just was really unfortunate that she just couldn't get a bucket.
Fact. She had 4 rebounds, 2 assists. She fouled once. She did a lot of things that do still show up in the stat sheet. But yeah, she's it has been weird because I feel like there was that last game against the Storm that it also just felt like she was shooting and it was going cold and Becky took her out. I think Becky is not afraid to pull somebody if they're not hot, but also in this game was just like she's doing a lot of other things that's let her find her rhythm. And I think that they have a lot of faith. Kelsey Plum will find that. I think, again, it just speaks to how scary this team is that you have a player that was averaging 19 points a game in the regular season. She had 6 tonight, and you still freaking won.
And you still found a way to win. You mentioned Dearica Hamby getting out there. Really glad to see her getting. She got like 10 minutes, 3 boards, 2 assists, and a steal. So that was really great. Becky kind of made it seem like she wasn't going to get out there this game, and so I'm really happy that she did get some meaningful minutes.
Definitely. Curt Miller said she probably has the best plus or minus on this team, and she actually tied Chelsea Gray and A'ja Wilson for the best plus minus.
Yeah. The Aces had 10 turnovers. The Sun had 7. Aces converted that to 11 points, while the Sun converted that to 14. I think looking at this, I would expect the Sun to have won this game. I think they really dropped it. This is the game that they should have won. They should have still won at home, and this is it. And I'm worried that they're not going to leave Vegas with a win.
I do have to acknowledge right now that we haven't spoken at all about being wrong about that Chicago series in a big way. You're like, what game? Game 5, huh?
Well, we absolutely can, but I think we should wrap up this one and then we can go to that one.
Oh, no, all I'm saying in that is, I don't want to count them out. They, I think, have an ability and fight that this team knows what they've been to finals, right? So, yeah, this game was ugly, and I think they definitely let one slip. It reminds me of how Seattle, in our exit interviews, the Storm, were like, if we would have had game 3, this is a different series. I hope that the Sun don't look back at this and say that game 1 would have changed everything. It's still early. It's super early, but it gave them, I think, a good path to see moving forward. This is what we would have to do, change a couple things in the last minute, and maybe we got this one.
I think you're absolutely right, but I think they will look back and say, this is the game we should have won.
I can see that.
The crowd. I think the crowd was a factor. You could hear Asia, or maybe it was like a sideline reporter, and you kind of caught Asia like talking about how loud it was and that they couldn't hear Becky and that they had to work through, each other on the field or on the court to figure out what to do. I think that's really great. Like, you want a really loud crowd. So great job, everybody in Vegas, making it difficult, even if for the home team at times.
They had 10,135 fans in attendance tonight. That's pretty good for a Game 1 finals.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that Asia's 24 points were on 6 of 11 shooting. That's really impressive that on those 6 shots, let's see, I'm sure her free throws is what got her there. She was 12 of 14 from free throw line. Seattle Storm, take note. That's how you have a free throw clinic.
I know you don't want to do predictions.
On camera.
But
Aces in 3. No, I really think my mind is saying Aces win the first 2 at home.
Okay.
And then that third game is a really tight battle. I think with what Connecticut showed me they were able to do in Chicago, I'm going to say the Sun win that game, but then the Aces close it out in 4 pretty decisively.
my on-camera answer is Aces in 4. Now, before they started, I thought that the Sun would win this game, and then basically what happened to Seattle was exactly what was going to happen to the Sun. It feels incredibly disrespectful to say a team is going to get swept in the finals. And I think that the Sun have proven that they are an incredibly scrappy team and they are fighters. And so I don't want to have my official prediction be a sweep. Therefore, I will say Aces in 4. But when we do FanDuel.
But if you sign up for the Patreon, you'll get the sweep content.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Aces just look like the team of destiny right now. Oh, did you see the video that they posted after they won that series where Becky goes, and by the way, I've known since last Saturday. Asia
it was on our
MVP.
last video.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
One of my faves.
And, watching that video back, you could see how much Asia wanted it.
Oh, it just really meant, it was like, and this? It was so cool.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to talk about that one game before.
That one game 5 in Chicago.
That one game. That
was banana sandwich. Chicago didn't play basketball in the fourth quarter. Just that's what happened.
Yeah.
The Sun ended the game on an 18-0 run. Chicago, it really felt like, was shell-shocked. It felt like in that last minute of the game, they were like, oh, guys, we've had this the whole time, right? And they're like, we don't have this. Oh, my gosh, our season's over. And they looked just shocked.
Yeah, I think that's something for the Aces to keep in mind, that you can never, ever, ever let up. And
absolutely,
that's what Candace, I believe, said in the post-game interview, was just that they let up. And so you can't underestimate your opponent, and you could never take your foot off the gas. And they did.
It felt like something that Candace, I was saying that when the game was going, that she was just playing with a sense of urgency, that someone that knows if you don't finish them.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, that's great. That if you don't really finish them, then a team can come back. And you could see in the last minute, I love when she went up and fouled DeWanna Bonner in the last seconds, and DeWanna Bonner just screams. I was like, yo, these teams wanted this so bad. Connecticut fought tooth and nail to make this happen in the fourth quarter. Candace was having an incredible playoff run. It just seemed like everyone in the stadium and the WNBA world was shocked, but good for Connecticut. I'm really happy they fought so hard to get there.
I'm happy that there will be a new champion.
That is super fun.
Yeah, I do wish that this was a Sky game, but they fought for it. Like, they deserve to be here. And so here they are.
And here they are, down 1-0. We will see who finishes this out. Game 2 is on Tuesday.
Yeah, on Tuesday. Based on the last series, I should say that the Sun are going to win this game. They're going to be scrappy and fight back. So my logical brain says that that the Sun win on Tuesday.
Aces. I'm going Aces.
All right, there we go.
All right, for Bound Sports, I'm Hunter.
I'm Jewelz. Y'all didn't score as much as you normally do, and is that something you're looking to correct in game 2?
Yeah, I think some of my turnovers prohibited that from happening. When somebody hits the offensive, when a team hits the offensive glass so much, and they were able to get putbacks, it limits us in transition a little bit more, and that's where we thrive. So if we take care of the glass, we'll be able to add some extra points. But it also is the playoffs, so you're not seeing a bunch of running up and down where you getting 100 to 115 points all the time, or whatever the case may be. Like it's not. Things get a little bit tighter. You get smarter. Those possessions matter a lot more than they did in the regular season. So if we can take care of business defensively a little bit more, then we'll be able to score more.
Jewelz, go ahead.
Thank you very much. My question is to Odyssey. I heard previously, Curt Miller, y'all had a discussion when you came on and you wanted to be an energy player. Why was that role important for you to fulfill?
I just think I get a chance to show my personality a little bit more. And it's fun, having energy on the bench translate to the first group that's on the court, of course. Having energy at all times is very important. And I think me and DJ, we take pride in that. But our energy off the bench or on the bench won't change. We're just going to make sure we have more momentum going into game 2.
Good luck.